after.
What is your name?
Jared,
How old are you?
21,
Where are you from?
St. Louis,
What city?
Wildwood,
Okay.
County.
Where do you reside now?
Richmond Heights.
All right. How have you been able to continue working?
So I did little training sessions for kids in like soccer instead of doing the normal thing where we all meet up in mass groups. I'm doing private sessions now, so I'll go to their house, go in their backyard, and we'll just like work through reps. So this way it's still social distancing, but we're not meeting in like mass groups.
Okay. What is your boss saying about this?
Well, I'm kind of doing this on my own because I'm not supposed to work through under my boss. The parents just pay me cash in hand.
Okay.
So yeah,
Pretty good money?
it's decent. I'm not asking a whole lot because
So what's going on?
I don't want them to hurt, and the money that
Yeah.
they're already giving me is working enough for my minimal needs. I
So
don't
were
have a
you getting
family.
were you getting paid more before?
I was getting paid more before.
Okay. Um, have you noticed a rise or fall on anything you normally purchase?
I'm trying to think. I actually haven't gone grocery shopping in the last 3 weeks. I've been bumming, but the typical things I buy are just like mass produced, like brand names, and I haven't seen any fluctuation or anything.
Where do you typically shop at?
I'm a Schnuck shopper.
Okay. Are you buying more or less of things?
I buy more every time I go. I like stock up so I don't have to leave the house.
Okay. What do you typically get?
Let's say, start with produce because that's where you first walk in. I always like to get something like onions, some greens, and tomatoes, and I make like salsa or I make guacamole, and then lunch meat. Then I hit the bread. I stare at the donuts and the cookies, and I pick between one or the other. Usually get like two pizzas frozen, and then I get like a bunch of other box things like Eggo waffles, mac and cheese, stuff like that.
Okay. So you would say that your shopping hasn't really changed from this pan?
No, it definitely has. I shop way harder and way less often.
Have you been ordering anything online?
I actually just ordered the Scott's vinyl. So that's it. It's been a month and a half now. That's the first thing I've ordered online.
So ordering something online, how's the shipping?
It's gonna ship in 10 to 12 weeks. So it really could be unaffected. They're just taking in like pre-orders right now, so they need to know how many vinyls to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
For like food or anything, have you been using Grubhub or DoorDash?
No, I'm going to get all my food because I do want to get out of the house, and to go and get my food is kind of an excuse to go and get some fresh air, maybe drive. I'll go like the extra mile too. I'll like hit, instead of hitting like a Jack in the Box that's here, I'll go further just so I'm out of the house longer.
Do you trust that Schnucks has been cleaning and trying to do everything they can to make sure their customers are satisfied and not have to worry about getting the coronavirus?
Yeah, when I was checking out, I remember this. I was maybe 5.5 feet behind the dude, and the cashier looked at me and was like, "Take a step back, sir," because I wasn't 6 feet. So yeah, it's instilled in the employees to like take precaution. I think they're doing a good job.
The Schnucks that was right next to my work. I went in. I had to go deliver their pizzas, and they had like red squares that are 6 feet apart for them to wait.
Yeah, they got that at ours too.
Okay. What would you consider necessary essentials for your household that you may have not, had before?
Dude, I mean, this toilet paper thing's real. Like, think about not having toilet paper and just like the inconvenience of that. That would suck. Just everywhere you walk would just be, you would notice that you don't have toilet paper. frozen and boxed goods, just like having non-perishable, so I don't have to worry if, like, let's say I had to wait 2 weeks, just knowing that I had the 2 weeks supply of food and gasoline every time I leave. I fill up because who knows when I'm gonna need an entire tank of gas to get somewhere.
Has the gas gone up or down?
Dude, way down.
So you're filling up a lot more just for a lot less.
Oh yeah, dude, it went from like I think it was like $2.94 a gallon to $1.94 a gallon, and I think it's still dropping.
So yeah, anytime you go out, you just want to top it off.
Top it up, yeah. So I started doing that when I normally fill up for 35 to 38, and I filled up an entire tank for 20, and I was like, holy shit! I should just fill up as much as I can.
So you're saying that toilet papers, limited. But how are every time I go to the store, I see that there's a lot less bread. Have you noticed anything about bread? It's been pretty good at Schnucks.
I don't really buy the like the brand names like Wonder Bread and all that. I don't buy that bread. I always buy like the fresh baked bread.
Okay.
So it's all they're just baking it every day. So I never have a problem with that.
Cleaning materials. Have you been buying more cleaning materials? Have you seen less of them?
Definitely less of them. That entire aisle is usually empty when you go. My parents bought them for me. Disinfecting wipes. I even got on you that one time. You're about to use one, and I was like, "Hey, what are you using it for?" Like, I want to make sure that they're being used for the right cause. And you were cleaning your phone, so fuck, like yeah, use it. I can say that right. I know I've been cussing.
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
So, how much are you typically spending when you go shopping?
120 when I typically would go and spend like 60 or 70.
Okay. So then, one of the questions here is asking about, weekly budget, food chain. Like, are you getting different? Are you finding yourself getting different foods, getting different items than you have been?
A lot more soups for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
What kind of soups?
I'm big on like potato, ham, potato, bacon, bean, like chili. So I'll get like Campbell's has like these microwavable ones that I get that they're pretty good. I've been getting a lot less of like chips, like snack food. I'm getting more meal type foods. When I say meal type, I mean it could be a frozen box thing. It could just be like I'll stock up on chicken, ground turkey, stuff like that. I keep wanting to get fish, but I don't really know how to cook fish. And if I buy fish, I have to buy seasoning. And right now, I don't really have like the income to just buy a random seasoning and kind of buy fish. And if I screw it up, like
It's money lost.
It's money lost. I can't just like throw it away or something and be like, all right, well, I'll try again next time.
So you said you've been buying more meal type things.
Mm-hmm.
So you've obviously been cooking a lot more. How have you been using a lot? Has like the gas bill gone up?
In the house, yeah. We had an argument about the gas bill because we didn't know if the total that they were showing us, which was $490, was what we paid already or what we owed. And so there's like, I haven't gone up on gas because I've been trying to conserve it. So we don't heat the house anymore, but I do cook. But heating the house takes up so much more gas than just using the stovetop. I'd say our electric bill went up, if anything, because all I do now is if I'm not working or I'm not cooking, I'm playing Xbox, watching TV. It's all I do.
Always doing something in the house.
Always something with electricity.
So, since you're at home a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
what do you typically? What does a typical day for you look like now? Versus back then, before the virus, to now. What's the difference?
Before the virus, I was on a pretty strict schedule. I have to be on a schedule. If I don't, I just kind of like, I don't do anything. I don't get things done. So I'd wake up usually around like 9 or 10, work out, go to class, get home from class, eat, cook, do something like that, and then do homework. And I'm usually done with homework around 7 or 8, and then I play time after that. Whereas, what's up, Shia?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas now, I'll wake up at like 2 p.m. I might work out. I might eat. I usually can go to like 7 without eating, and then I'll just lounge around, kind of like what a cat would do when you're out at work. Just lay there, maybe nap, maybe get up and do something. I don't know. Then someone gets home, and I'm like, "What's up, man? Like, I haven't done anything all day."
So since you have all this time at home and you're watching a lot of TV, you know, what kind of ads are you seeing?
Well, I've been watching HBO, so there's no ads. Because I've been watching Game of Thrones nonstop, and since it's a subscription base, you pay for it. It's like ad free, so I'll only see HBO ads of their own content.
Nothing really about the virus or anything.
That's when I listen to music on Spotify. There's always like a COVID-19, and it's just like at this point, it's just beating a dead horse. I get it, like
You don't want to keep hearing the same ads over and over.
I don't know what more they can tell me because they haven't found out anything new.
Well, I know Nike, they just released an ad that I thought was pretty good. It was it's like stay home, like you dream of playing for millions, but now's your chance by staying home. It's like I've seen a lot of things like that, and whenever I'm on the like in my car listening to the radio, I hear a lot of, like you said, they're just beating at that horse. So.
Dude, it's kind of gotten to the point. It's like kind of condescending because a lot of celebrities are like, "Stay home." Like, I don't care if you tell me to stay. Like, I don't need you to tell me this.
I read something that I forget who it was. It was another famous person that was like, they kind of went off and was like, why, like these, no one wants to keep hearing from these celebrities that are living in their fucking mansions.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's getting old. People just don't want to hear it from them. Like they know. Like they have millions of dollars. Like.
Not complaining about this house, but their house is probably like 40 times this house.
You've got some people that have a house and it's like a compound.
Yeah, this house is their living room.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So for us three to be living in this house, and you can't go in one room without seeing someone. It's just for them to be like, stay at home, and then they can go like they have an entire workout room that they can go to. They have a movie theater. They have a pool. Yeah. Hot tub. Their chef comes over. Yeah.
So have you noticed when you do go shopping, are there any like promotional things going on within the store to try for them people to get like clean something, you know?
Buy things, yeah.
Any kind of promos going on for this virus? Like, you think people are taking advantage of this crisis?
Not in the food area, because I think right now, if anything, food's on the up because everyone's like going and getting it and kind of stocking up more because they don't know if this will take a turn. So I think no one's trying to like put promotional deals on food or cleaning supplies because demand's too high right now.
People need them.
Yeah, they're gonna get bought regardless. There's no shortage of customers on those. What I am seeing is a bunch of deals on clothing. So I'm a big soccer guy. I watch a lot of soccer, and on my Twitter feed, it's all like soccer jersey sales have plummeted because obviously in a time like this, soccer jerseys aren't a need, so people aren't buying them. Dude, their prices are lower than I've ever seen them before.
Really? How much is a typical jersey?
Typical jersey, if you want a name on the back, 100, 120. If now you can get a name on the back for like 50 or 60.
Well, I know from personal experience about jerseys, and like it's kind of the same thing with the soccer shoes about how there's different tiers.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what would a basic jersey, the lowest you could get? What do you?
The lowest you can get, I think you could 70 or 80, and I bet right now they're 30 or 40. Like they're pretty much cut their prices in half.
So do you see any deals like on these jerseys, or like they buy one get one?
Like 50% off. Yeah. There's a lot of those going on right now. There's this mystery grab bag that they do. It's normally 120. You get 3 random jerseys, name or no name. They select them for you. I think it's down to like 70 right now.
And you're getting authentic jerseys.
You get authentic jerseys, so like the top of the line jerseys.
Okay. So now that we've kind of talked about sports here, and since there hasn't been any sports, how has that affected you?
I'm a sports guy, thick and thin. I don't really watch. When I watch TV or something, I'm not watching a show. I'm watching like a game. Doesn't matter the sport. Competition excites me. So now that there's none of that, I really do find myself bored just trying to get through the day. Like, what am I going to do today? Because normally I'd be like, oh, that Bayern Munich versus Dortmund's gonna be on at 1. I'm gonna watch that, take a break from the day, and then I'll get my homework done after. I can't really base the schedule around that anymore.
So what were you doing during these games? You know, are you betting? Or are you just watching?
I'm betting. It's some of my relaxation time, but I do bet on it, which kind of brings the anxiety and adrenaline up. But the best part about it is when you do bet and your adrenaline goes up, once the game's over, you're not in a relaxation state. You're in a let's get stuff done state. Even when you win too, the euphoria is so high that I usually get a bunch of stuff done, and then by the time I'm doing all the work I needed to do in the day, I calm down and I watch a game that I didn't bet on, usually like the Blues, because I don't like to bet on my own team, and I can just watch that and enjoy it and relax.
So obviously these betting companies, you know, rely on sports. They rely on people making bets.
Of course.
What are you betting through?
So I bet through an online website. It's like a European website, because again, big soccer guy, soccer's in Europe. So they've actually been sending me a bunch of promotional deals because they're clearly hurting. I'm getting calls from them. I actually had to save their phone number as the company name, so that way I know just end the call. Emails nonstop. They're hurting.
What kind of promotional deals are they doing?
Yesterday I got a $25 like coin chip that they're calling, like, so that way it gets me the incentive to bet.
So they're giving out credits.
They're giving out credits, but the only thing you can bet on is esports and then like simulations. And I'm not gonna bet on a simulation.
Do you watch esports?
I don't really. Not because it's not exciting, but it's just I'd rather play than watch.
Understand. What would you say that you spent more or less money?
Significantly less. So obviously I'm 21, like I said earlier. It's like the exciting time to like go up to a bar and not worry about an ID getting taken or, you know, being denied at the front door. So on the weekends, usually Saturday, I would go and spend maybe 60 to 80 a night. And since this is, you're not allowed to go to bars, I have been saving money like crazy.
How do you think these bars are doing? Think they're struggling?
Same as the sports betting websites, but probably even worse because there's no simulations or esports to bet on, you know. These companies, their entire revenue is just like stopped. It's halted.
So, like you said, a typical weekend, you know, you go out, spend some money. So are you saving this money, or are you putting it elsewhere, trying to invest it maybe, or anything like that?
I spent an entire day trying to get to know the stock market because I do have this extra money. I figured why not put it to something that'll make me more money. But after a day of like trying to learn about the stock market, I realized this is not my area, and I'm probably just gonna put money in that'll lose. Like I'll lose it. So I stayed away from that, and I'm not really investing it. I'm kind of just stockpiling it. That way, once this is over, I can go to work and not have to worry about how much I need to make this month to pay for rent.
So with school being closed and all, but everyone's in online classes. How is this
Yep.
affecting you?
It actually worked out for the best. At first it sucked. Because the teachers didn't get it. They also were adjusting, so it was just this awkward period of random assignments on like one day that you had no idea were coming up because it wasn't in the syllabus. So you're just kind of like, oh, well now I have to put this into my schedule of like work I was supposed to get done today. But once they figured it out, it's been the easiest thing. I've had to write 4 papers. I've been given like a week's heads up at most. And when you have all the time like in your day to sit down and write 1 paper a day, I'm gonna pass with flying colors this semester.
So you're gonna go ahead and keep GPA and not do pass fail.
Keep the GPA. If I did pass fail, I'd be doing myself an injustice.
How do you feel about pass fail?
I get it because this is not everyone's experiencing the same fortune that I am with my teachers. A lot of people are still having to take tests, like engineers, and it's weird learning that kind of format online because when it comes to like mathematics, it helps to just be like, I don't get why you did that. Can you explain to me why? And you don't really get that function through online.
No, I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
for math classes, I got it. Like anything with numbers, I really want to sit down with the teacher because I want to ask them, what's going on if I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so obviously, Fonpon's using Zoom. How's that affected you?
I'm gonna be honest. I've missed most of my Zoom classes, just because it's not something. Because you don't have to be there, you don't think about it. And since the days all really blend together, I'll wake up Tuesday, I'll be like, oh, I had class yesterday, and I completely forgot about it. And I'm like, okay, I got class tomorrow, wake up, and then I'll stay up till 4 a.m., not remember what day it is, and then repeat. I keep missing my class.
So, what?
It doesn't help that when we do join the Zoom classes, nothing productive gets done, because it is a weird format, so there's no incentive to go on the Zoom class. Because I know I'm going to sit there for an hour and 30 minutes, learn nothing, and then just get off and be like, well, there goes that.
I think it's also kind of tough too when like everyone doesn't have the same situation. Like obviously we're well off right now, We have internet, we have computers, but some people just don't have that and they kind of rely on the school. So I mean, it is kind of a bummer.
Plus, a lot of people are living with their families, so it's kind of weird for them to like find somewhere to like just go for an hour and 15 and not have to deal with, what's going on with their family.
Yeah, I mean, I was at home the other weekend and my mom and my dad and my brother, they all have their own section. My brother's in the office for some reason, my dad's in the basement, and then my mom's in the dining room. And I mean, it's constant phone calls, this, that.
Still getting work done.
Yeah. How has this affected your family at all?
Yeah, so my mom's a hairdresser and my dad's a teacher. So my mom can't take any clients right now. Boom, income halted. My dad obviously isn't working. Well, he's working, he's doing the online stuff, but he like all of us is going through this is weird. The kids aren't really, because he's teaching middle schoolers, so these kids are even less inclined to do their work. If I was 13, this was going on, I'd be like, I don't need to do that.
It'd be a field day.
It'd be a field day. Yeah, you're on summer vacation early.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about what do you think about the high school, middle school? I mean, how does that? For me, I'm just confused with it. How are you really gonna sit down and try to teach these kids something? Whereas, for us, we both went to Lafayette, and we had a lot of inner city kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think that a lot of some people have a lot of big families, so they don't have the same luxury that we do with logging in, sitting down in our class. What do you think about that?
Well, people living in the city too, you're on top of each other, so there's less, like us, we have yards. We live out in the county, so we can, if I wanted to, I could go outside, I could kick a soccer ball around. I have enough space to do like activities. Whereas if you're living in the city and parks aren't open, maybe you can go on the trail, but you're gonna see 100 different people on the trail. So they don't have the same exclusiveness and relaxation. So there's just that aspect to think about socially.
So are you finding yourself doing different hobbies, different things now that?
Yeah.
Some things. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
I've been trying to read a lot more and just kind of, since I have a lot of free time, learn about things that interest me. So astronomy I'm a huge astronomy nerd, and I've just been listening to a bunch of podcasts, doing a bunch of readings on like recent findings and stuff. It's just been fun to be able to get back into that part of my life.
How'd you start getting into astronomy?
My older brother was big into it, and when we were like real young, I was in elementary school, he was in middle school. He asked for a book for Christmas, and it's just like a basic book, pictures and stuff. And dude, the pictures are just so cool to think that that's out there. And us being what we are, we can go and like put a telescope, in space and just like take pictures of other stuff that's out there. It's just cool to think that we're alive in a time where people once thought that, the Earth was the center of the solar system, and now we're seeing that we have a galaxy, Andromeda, as our neighbor, and that there's so many. It's just cool to think about that we're in a time where we understand that.
Have you taken any astronomy classes in college?
I took one my freshman year. The only reason I'm not pursuing a career in it is because the workload's insane. Because you just have to understand so many different things, and I was just like, I don't want to do that. I want this to be a hobby, not a chore.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else have you been? What other hobbies have you been? You know, you said you listen to podcasts. You just listen to a Shawnee podcast or
No, so I listened to one about the CIA recently.
the what?
The CIA. I said that kind of weird. The CIA and what they did in the 60s and a bunch of stuff that they covered up. And this is super cool. So, not cool. This kind of would be crazy, but so everyone knows that the CIA experimented with like brainwashing and stuff like that, and just like the use of drugs on the mind.
Oh yeah, they gave people acid and everything.
So yeah, one thing that people in the CIA were doing to their fellow employees is they would take acid and they put it in their coffee and give it to them without them knowing, and then they would drink the coffee and then they would just kind of like study the effect on the person. And that's so unethical, but that would be the craziest experiment.
At that time though, I mean, it was probably looked at as ethical, trying to figure out what like. But like
It was unethical.
that's what
They knew
I'm
it.
saying. Like you could have gotten away with it back then, but like if that happened in today's world, all hell would break loose.
Yeah, well, okay, so Marilyn Manson, he was like a cult leader. He would have people murder on his behalf. He would murder people. He was apparently part of this like MK Ultra thing where they would, I'm gonna butcher it. I listened to the podcast once. I need to listen to it again. But these were pretty much sleeper agents, and they would like brainwash them. They'd go out and they would do stuff, and it's just like crazy to think that such a famous Marilyn Manson case was connected to the CIA, and that he pretty much was made because of them.
What do you mean?
Like they did like mind things on him, mind games. Like they did a bunch of experiments on Marilyn Manson,
Okay.
and he
Just like that messed him up.
it messed him up. I'm definitely butchering this, but he also did it to his cult following people. So he implemented the same things that were done onto him onto them, and that's why they so like mindlessly followed him and would kill for him and stuff.
Damn, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what other podcasts have you listened to?
I have my comedy podcast, Your Mom's House. It's with Tom Segura and his wife Christina Prusinski, both stand-up comics. It's pretty much just a goofy podcast. They bring on videos. They like on the spot make fun of them, and since they're both like professional comedians, they're hilarious. It's just they have funny guests on. They have interesting guests on. It's always fun to like learn something new and laugh while you're doing it.
So would you say that you're watching more podcasts than you were before this pandemic?
Yeah, and when I say watching podcasts, I watch them on YouTube. I don't really like, listen to them. I do listen and watch them on YouTube, so that's why I say that. But I'm definitely watching a bunch more.
Would you would rather watch them than just listen?
Yeah, because you get to see like the people themselves, and when you listen, you don't always know the intention of what they're saying. And when you see like facial, like non-express behaviors, you kind of do. Non-verbal behaviors, you kind of see more what they're meaning. And when you're listening to like comedy, that's a big part. Yeah.
So kind of going back to activities and whatnot, are you seeing more people on the streets or like outside or?
Yeah, so I try to go running sometimes, and when I do, the streets are. It's hard to socially distance because everyone's like, I want to be outside. You need to be outside. It's part of human nature. And it's just, you see it more now than ever because we're confined to our homes.
So, kind of going back to the last pandemic, with H1N1 or the swine flu.
Okay.
How do you see this as a similar situation and how is it different?
It's different because it's not as scary as we thought it was, whereas H1N1 didn't raise this level of panic, but I'd say it was probably more lethal. So there's just so much more national and international concern as to the structure of our society. Whereas H1N1, I was still going to school. There was no social distancing. People were just like, it's okay, it's just a flu. But since coronavirus hit places where people were more susceptible to death, because Italy is huge on smoking cigarettes, And it's been proven that it screws up people who smoke cigarettes. It just raised a bunch more panic than ended up really being needed. Also, Italy has a huge population of older people, and since like it's been hitting those two categories, once it came over to here, it was just like, oh, it's not as deadly as we thought it was. Because in America, you don't see many people smoking cigarettes the way they do over there.
So you definitely, because I mean, Italy has one of the highest death rates
Yeah.
for the coronavirus. And you think that smoking those, all the people smoking cigarettes, you think that's really affected them?
I know because it like people have talked about it and how that's been a huge proponent of why we were so scared. Because they do in China too. They smoke a bunch of cigarettes. And you think of the places where it was the most lethal, it's high cigarette smoking areas.
Well, I mean, also as well in China, it's obviously they got a large population.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely got to have some impact on the spreading. But what do you think about? There's all this stuff out there saying like about cover-ups and everything. About how people like China was covering up how many people really got sick, how many people died.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that could be happening here?
I don't think it's happening here. For sure, it could be happening in China. Like it's not the first time they've lied to us about things. When you run through that kind of governmental system, they really can say what they want to us, but it's definitely not happening here. There's probably some propaganda, but because I can call a buddy of mine who's a doctor in New York City, and he'll be like, "This is how it really is," whereas you can't really do that there. So.
How would you say social distancing is? You've been, would you say it's easy to maintain or something that's kind of it's a struggle?
Depends on the case. I met someone and I instinctively shook their hand, and it's like you're not supposed to do that. And I didn't even think about it just because you're raised.
It's second nature.
You're raised like, hey, you meet someone, shake their hand. It's kind of like nice to meet you gesture. But like when I go running, it's pretty easy to socially distance because I can like divert from the sidewalk, go on the road, kind of like carve out a path to avoid people. So it's easy, but it's not easy.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think you don't really think about it sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of doing your thing. So I mean, when you go to the grocery store, how's that?
You can't like stay if everyone stayed 6 feet away from each other. You wouldn't be able to grocery shop because the aisles aren't even 6 feet apart. And then they think that they're like, okay, once you get to the grocery line, you check out, stay 6 feet apart, and you're like, but I wasn't 6 feet apart the rest of the time. So it's just weird.
Do you see a lot of people wearing masks?
Yeah.
Have you yourself wearing masks?
I haven't, and I should. I should be doing it, but there's no inclination to. I'm not going very many places, and I'm here. I go get food, I go get groceries, I'm back here. That's all I'm doing.
Are you spending more money? So, how would you say, getting fast food and everything, a lot of people do that. How would you say it's changed for you, before this and after?
I hate the drive-through. I like to go in and order. It's just, it's so much easier, and it makes the trip longer. I like taking my time and things like that. I'm never really in a rush to get my food and get back and eat it. So.
Do these stores? I work, at a restaurant. And
Yeah.
We have, people can come in and pay, or they can ask for curbside. Have any of the places you've been doing that, or is it all strictly like drive-through and?
It's mostly drive-through. There are some places like Penn Station you have to go inside because they don't have a drive-through. But the places I'm eating more often than not, when I do go out and eat, it's only drive-through.
Are you spending more money on fast food than you were before?
Probably, just because I need an excuse to get out of the house.
Just go for a drive, really. Just get out of there.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard when you stay inside all day. Because I've never been an indoor person. I like to be outside doing stuff. And to just be lounging around for like 3-4 weeks in a row, starts to get to you, and you need any excuse to get outside.
So what do you typically do for exercise? Like before the pandemic and
Okay.
after?
Before the pandemic, I had a strength and conditioning coach for the soccer team. I'd go to a gym at a set time. I'd get a solid workout in, being advised by a guy who's been trained, college educated, and knows what he's doing, to waking up, only being able to do a certain set of like push-ups or something like that, and half-assing it because I'm alone. I don't really have someone saying like trying to push me, and it's only me there, and I don't even know if I'm gonna have a soccer season. So why work so hard when I'm not gonna be able to apply it, and why I'm working hard?
So you think this pandemic will go ahead and probably end the soccer season?
I don't think it will. I think it's gonna be over pretty soon, but I don't want to bust my ass just to not be able to apply it.
So kind of going back to after talking about your exercise here, how do you think professional teams and leagues are doing?
I know that the Bundesliga, which is the German soccer league, they're planning on starting May 9th. So I guarantee they've already got, I bet everyone that's being at those facilities has been tested. They will again be tested, and they're just working out in their facilities and doing everything that they normally do.
Yeah, it's interesting because as you see, as you being a soccer fan, they're talking about playing games without fans.
Yeah.
And they're talking about trying to do that for the NBA, for the NHL, for all sports leagues. Because it is interesting because that is how they make their money, is by having fans, by having these big games. So I think it's just going to be interesting to see how a lot of these leagues play out. So how do you feel about there not being fans? Are you just ready for sports to get back?
Yeah, so I'm also a minor in sports management, and ticket sales don't make up the big chunk of their revenue. It's usually like TV deals and sponsorships. Mm-hmm. So without fans, the only thing that's going to change is the atmosphere of the game. Like, I don't think we're going to see the best out of the players, because when you're at home and you have 50, 90,000 fans chanting for you, it obviously is going to play a different role on your motivation than when it's just your team.
Oh yeah, even for us playing soccer at Pompon, 20 fans, it's a completely different feeling than going out and just playing the game by yourself. Like,
yeah, for sure.
People are watching. You want people to watch you. You want to play for the people, and like you said, it's going to be a different atmosphere. So
for sure,
it'll be interesting because, if you think about it, the pandemic, like it's not going to go away anytime soon. Like they're talking about canceling school for next fall or whatever some schools are. So
that'd be wild.
Exactly. Like think about it, because if sports leagues try to start, they're gonna have to put people in the hotels. Like they're not gonna be able to go outside and have normal interaction, because what if one of them comes back and then this whole thing just starts over again.
Yeah. You take it from, like, we went to Dallas, someone's sick there, they bring it right back to St. Louis.
So I think that'll be tricky as well, because I just don't think you can have. I really don't think you can have people just living in hotels to finish out the league and the season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So kind of going back to your job and everything, how many kids would you typically train before?
Normally I have like 15 to 20, enough for a team.
And then now what's going on now?
I've only got 5 kids right now, each individual sessions.
How long do those sessions last?
I like to make them last an hour to 2 hours, just depending on how much energy the kid has on the day. And they normally make it to 2 hours, because imagine being 4 years old, 4 to 8, and you have endless amounts of energy, and you're inside all day. So the second I get there, they're just off the walls,
Yeah, so you kind of just said it, but what age groups do you train?
I don't really work with the 4-year-olds as much. I work with like 4 to 9. That's where I work at.
Just what's a typical training session like now?
Okay.
Because like you said, it's more personal.
So I can work more to their strengths, whereas when you work with the group, you're kind of basics, and then they get out of it what they want. But now I can look at the kid, know where they need to work on, how to work on it. So they're getting these individual sessions. The kids are getting way more out of it than they were in the group sessions.
Which do you prefer?
I like the individual sessions because one kid is a lot easier to keep focused than 15 to 20.
Yeah, growing up, playing soccer, I always found that the individual private sessions, really helped.
Yeah, you build a relationship too with the player-coach relationship, and it's just, I had some great coaches growing up, and I know that I could always look at them and be like, hey man, this has been bothering me, and then they teach you how to handle it through the work at your sport, and it's just cool to be able to do that myself now.
So do you think that this will affect your income long term? Because you're not training as many kids?
Not long term, because I'm not in a career-based job. I wasn't making like 40,000 a year, something higher than that. I was only making enough to pay. Enough to pay for school, enough to pay rent, and just like keep going. And then I had the support of my parents, they're doing all right. This isn't gonna. It's set them back enough, but not to the point where they're not gonna recover. And same with me.
Yeah, I was, I'm kind of interested. I mean, my dad sells, like horse feed, stuff from farms.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of curious, like, how are there stores, like, are those essential business? Like, you know what I mean?
Like feeding like animals and livestock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's stores that are like specifically for that, like all the farm material, like farm food. So I haven't really looked into that, but I think that's interesting as well. Just kind of, a lot of people are getting screwed over by this.
Yeah, and we're some of the fortunate people that aren't getting screwed over just because we do have a good foundation with our families.
Do you think that your training sessions will, you'll kind of allow a bigger group, but they just have to keep their distance?
You can't.
Can't.
Because that's not how sports are played.
Well, I mean, for your training sessions.
Yeah, but you can't like train. If I have more than one person, I want them to work together, and because that's how sports play. The sport's not played alone; it's played with other individuals. And this isn't something like tennis where you can keep your distance and you'll be okay.
Well, so I guess I'll probably narrow it down for you a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I guess I have to ask what are your sessions like? What do you do? Like, is it
Okay.
technical work? Is it good games? Like, what are you doing? What's a typical session look like?
So like I said before, it depends on the athlete that I'm working with. So it can be technical. If someone's really struggling with their foot skills, but they have a good knowledge of the game, I'll sit there and just hammer in like the tedious stuff. Like you gotta do your toe touches, in betweens, and just get the feel for the ball down to the point where you can use your knowledge and you'll be able to make happen what you see. And then, maybe another player's got good foot skills already, but their technique when they're shooting's trash. And I'll just like work them through how to strike a ball to where you can get it with good accuracy and power every time.
And so, are parents there watching this? Are they sticking around? What are they doing?
Since it's I go to their home, so
Okay.
they're usually, this is just like, some of the parents work still, so they're doing their thing, and I'm just kind of like working the kid through. And then maybe they get a break from like a phone call or something, they'll come outside and like, they'll come into the drill with them, just kind of like get their own little workout into.
So, what's your major?
My major is communications.
Okay, so you're communicating with these guys pretty well, I assume.
Yeah.
How is this, going to affect your major, your job outlook? Is there...
Job outlook. My major's pretty cool that I can go into a lot of different careers. It's not like specific to business or something. I can go PR. I can go into business. I can go into a lot of different areas. So I don't really think it's gonna hurt my job outcome too much because of how versatile my major is.
So you said that you were minoring in sports management, right?
Yeah.
So are you looking to go into sports?
I am looking to go into sports.
Well, I know you had internship with the Blues
Yep.
before all that went down. So, how do you think that affected, Will you try again next year?
So I will probably get it again next year. I had a good relationship with my boss, and it sucks because the Blues were having a phenomenal season again. We were coming off a Stanley Cup championship. We have a team that can win it again. We were doing great without our leading goal scorer Vladimir Tarasenko, and he was on. Yeah, he was like a week or two away from returning, and then all this happened. So just to be had that taken away from me, it really sucked. And then
Well, so obviously we didn't go, on like a lockdown quarantine.
yeah,
Until a little, like the season was still going on for a little bit. So how do you think, like, what was a typical work day for you before this virus for the game?
So you show up 4 hours before game time. I only work on games because my job only is needed during games, and then you set up, you get ready, you talk with your boss, you help him do the little things he needs to prepare for the game, and then during game time you're actually allowed to just sit down and watch the game, and then in between intermissions I'm running stat sheets and stuff like that. I'm making them to the important people who need them, like the media and all that.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, obviously you're not 6 feet apart, and like I said,
Not 6 feet apart, yeah.
we didn't start this quarantine 6 feet apart until after.
Yeah.
I mean,
After it starts spreading.
there was a little bit of time where we were still going to school, still going to work, and not really having anything to worry about. And I know obviously you were in Spain earlier this year.
Yep.
How was that? I mean, did you like? Cause it was hadn't really started yet.
I went to Spain. I was in Barcelona before COVID-19 even was in a newspaper, and I came home before it was even in a newspaper. Life was normal while I was there, so this had no impact on my travels, what I was able to do. My 2 friends that I did stay with were studying abroad, and they were traveling a bunch because it's super cheap to travel there, so why not? And they went to Italy for a concert, and once they got back from that concert, they were back in Barcelona. Like, COVID-19 was all over the newspapers, and it hit Italy hard, and that's when Trump was like, you've got this amount of time to get home. So they had to rush to get home, pack everything, and once they got home, testing was going on. They finally got tested, and they had the virus.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's reports that the virus, it was back. It started in September. So I was
I didn't know that.
I was reading on that, and I just think it's kind of crazy that it spread so fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did.
So with travel, traveling obviously like you said is pretty cheap. Are you looking to take advantage of that?
I wanted to. At first, I was like, dude, why would we not take this opportunity to use this cheap travel and go somewhere cool, right? And then I didn't want to do it because what if I was the reason someone died from it? I just so I could get cheap airfare somewhere. I didn't want that responsibility and that guilt weighing on me so I could have mimosas on the beach.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be the cause of someone's death either.
Right.
But it is interesting, like you said, that travel is so cheap, and a lot of people were taking advantage of it.
Yeah, the spring breakers who still went out, and some of the videos those weren't the brightest people. The people who still went on their spring break and they took videos of them. They took videos of and posted them on news outlets and stuff. They took videos of just these not intelligent people, these just idiots who couldn't think about what they were doing and the cause and effect of it. So I didn't want to be one of those people looking back what a dumb thing to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had the chance to travel to Florida for a couple of days, and I decided it's probably just smart to stay home. Don't
Yeah.
really wanna, like you said, be the cause of someone to get it. Have you visited grandma, grandpa?
I only have one living grandparent. It's my grandma. She lives in Kirkwood, and I don't want to visit her because I don't want to be. I don't know if I have it or not. I don't want to give it to her.
Exactly. That's kind of where I was at, because I was over at my grandparents' house. I bought them some charcoal, and my grandpa needed some charcoal, so I went and bought it for him. And like I wanted to keep 6 feet away, and cause I don't want to get them sick. But,
Yeah.
he just texted me this morning telling me that he needs me to come. He moves his trees or his plants from when it starts to get warm. He moves them inside,
Okay.
and he has a little green room. And I want to help the guy, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to be the reason that you're gonna get sick.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, obviously elderly people have more risk and higher chance of getting it and getting.
They have the higher mortality.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess so have you talked to him? Talked to her?
No, she's not tech savvy.
Okay.
So she still has a home phone, and I don't know her number, and I don't know. She has 50 grandchildren. She's being taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It's a little different for the case of it. Yeah.
How has this affected your neighborhood?
People are doing that like horn honking thing for birthdays. That's about it. No one's like coming together as a community.
Obviously, we live in the same house here, and
Yeah.
we have 2 very elderly neighbors.
So I avoid them at all costs. Yeah, we have 2 neighbors who are
I think one's at least 100.
One's like 104 and the other's 80 or 90. So if they contracted it, I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
who knows? Yeah.
I find it interesting that the one 90-year-old neighbor, the elderly woman came over and knocked on her doorbell and was like, "Yeah."
Fearlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't even wearing a mask, nothing, and she was just like, "Hey, I need you. My TV's not working. Can you come look at it?"
And you went in her house.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I
touching everything you
I
could.
really shouldn't be doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And went in there and had to help her, but the Wi-Fi was down. Someone messed up a whole cable or whatever, and we didn't have Wi-Fi that whole day.
Yeah, it was also affecting us. Yeah.
So how would you say you are on the Wi-Fi more?
So I'm using Wi-Fi. What are you using right now? Wi-Fi on your laptop? Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi nonstop.
Have you noticed any changes in your connection or anything?
It crashes a lot more often because I think just the amount of people that are at home on the Wi-Fi is just overloading, the network.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
Yeah. Since I moved, so we usually are all on the Wi-Fi on our Xbox and PlayStation. I moved to wired, and once I moved to wired, it quit using the bandwidth or whatever that the Wi-Fi network would normally use. So it has crashed less because I'm on an Ethernet cord. That's something I've noticed.
Yeah, I would say that I'm losing connection a lot more often than I'd like to.
Yeah.
And it's not like you said. We can't really do much without it. We're paying our bills. We're doing that, but everyone's at home, so
yeah,
everyone's gonna be using it. All right. Well, I think this is gonna conclude it.
All right.